2 weeks ago, I received a message from my fiancée, Melody, that dismantled everything we'd spent 3 years building together. It was short, casual, almost sterile in tone, the kind of message you'd send if you were announcing a weekend getaway, not the temporary dissolution of a life together. I'm staying at Dominic's for a few days to clear my head. Don't make it weird. Dominic, her ex from college. The same guy she once described as ancient history, after I discovered some flirtatious messages between them just 6 months into our relationship. The same guy who regularly left heart emojis and playful comments under her Instagram selfies. The same guy who, in a bizarre coincidence, just happened to be at the same industry conference as her last year, an event she failed to mention until I spotted a tagged photo. We had been together for 3 years. Engaged for 8 months. We'd signed contracts, put down deposits for a venue, catering, florals, the whole package. And now, out of the blue, she was clearing her head at the home of the man she once claimed had no relevance in her life anymore. I stared at her message for a long time. Not out of confusion. No, her words were painfully clear, but because I wanted to be sure I wasn't imagining the implications. After 5 full minutes of stillness, I typed my response. Take all the time you need. Then I got to work. Not emotionally, not yet, but logistically. Methodically. If she wanted time and space, I'd give her exactly that. The lease on our apartment had always been in my name. She moved in nearly 2 years ago but never bothered to have herself added officially. That was my first move. I contacted building management and had her removed from the list of authorized residents. Simple. Next, I disabled her building access fob. That covered the gym, the pool, the parking garage, all of which were linked to my membership, my payments. After that, I cancelled the second line on my phone plan. 6 months ago, her phone had died and I added her to my plan while she figured things out. Consider it figured. Then came the money. We kept separate bank accounts, with one joint account for shared expenses. A smart precaution, it turns out. I transferred her portion back to her personal account. Nothing withheld, nothing dramatic. Just clean separation. Finally, I packed her things. Clothes, toiletries, jewelry, electronics, personal mementos. Everything that was distinctly hers. I didn't touch anything sentimental. No photos destroyed. No petty vandalism. I hired a courier and had the boxes delivered to her mother's house, along with a short note. These belong to Melody. Please ensure she receives them. No angry text. No late-night calls. No begging for answers. I simply began the quiet process of untangling my life from hers, one thread at a time. The next day, her mother called me, clearly blindsided. Melody's things just arrived here. Is everything okay? Kept my tone measured. Melody decided to stay at her ex-boyfriend's house to clear her head. I'm just helping her do that more fully by giving her the space she seems to need. If she wants to reach me, she can go through you. Her phone might not be working anymore. Silence. Her mother had no idea. That alone told me plenty. 4 days passed with no word. Then, as I was working from home, the doorman buzzed. Sir, there's a Melody Winters here insisting she lives in your unit. She's not on the resident list and her key fob doesn't work. Should I let her up? No, Marcus. Miss Winters no longer resides here. Please don't allow her up. 20 minutes later, calls started pouring in from numbers I didn't recognize. Voicemails followed. The first one was her voice shaky. James, what the hell? I came home and they wouldn't let me in. My key doesn't work and my phone line's gone. Call me back. I didn't. The next message was more panicked. This isn't funny anymore. Where's all my stuff? Why can't I get into our apartment? The third was from her mother's phone. James, please. I made a mistake. Can we just talk about this? Still I said nothing. That evening, I worked out in a gym she no longer had access to, made myself a quiet dinner, and basked in the silence of a space that was now mine alone. Later I sent one final text. Not to her, but to her mother's number. Melody, I received your messages. Just to clarify. There is no our apartment. The lease is in my name. There is no our phone plan. I cancelled the additional line I was paying for. There is no our wedding. Postponed everything. You chose to stay with your ex to clear your head. Consider it cleared, along with your belongings, which were delivered 4 days ago. If anything is missing, send a list. I'll check and let you know. That message opened the floodgates. Her sister called. Her friends called. Eventually her father, a man I respected, reached out. His tone was calm, heavy. James, can I see you? Just to talk. Just me. We met at a coffee shop, not my apartment. He looked at me like he wanted to believe there was some misunderstanding. Melody says you overreacted. She claims Dominic is just a friend. She just needed time to think. I didn't argue. I simply played a recording, or rather, an overheard conversation from 3 weeks prior. She'd been on the phone, unaware I'd come home early. I don't know, Dom. Yes, we're still engaged. No, I haven't told him yet. It's complicated. The wedding's paid for. I just need more time. Her father listened, his face folding in disappointment. He closed his eyes, rubbed his temple. Her mother and I raised her better than this. I believe that too, I said. After a long pause, he asked softly. So what happens now? Nothing, I said. It's over. The moment she chose to walk into his place with an overnight bag and not contact me for 4 days, the relationship ended. Everything else is just administration. 10 days have passed since then. Melody's version of events has shifted like sand. At first, I overreacted. Then she was just overwhelmed. Dominic was a friend, offering perspective. Then I was controlling. Now she says it was a mistake, and I'm punishing her unfairly. But here's the thing, she only reached out once she was locked out. Not during the 4 days she was clearing her head. Not to check in. Not to talk. Just silence, until the consequences arrived. And fate, ever ironic, gave me one more twist. Dominic's girlfriend messaged me on Instagram. Apparently, she'd believed he was simply supporting a friend. Then she found text. She's moved out now too. Locked out of a life built on blurred lines and shaky truths. 2 women. Both thought they were the real partner. Neither was told the full story. I've blocked Melody on everything except email, which I've filtered to a separate folder I check once a week. Her belongings remain at her mother's. Most of the wedding deposits are refundable, and I plan to transfer her share once the vendors finalize the refunds. I'm not out for revenge. Just closure. Weeks later, a small package arrived. Inside was the engagement ring that belonged to my grandmother. Alongside it, a handwritten note from her father. This should be returned to your family. A small act of grace amid a storm of confusion. Legally, some warned Melody could claim tenant rights. But with no name on the lease and no rent paid to the landlord, her case is weak. Still, I consulted a lawyer. I've documented everything. No recordings, just detailed notes from overheard conversations. A habit from my line of work, where logging vulnerabilities is routine. From what I hear, Melody is still living with her parents. Dominic, unsurprisingly, is trying to patch things up with his own girlfriend, not exactly offering Melody a long-term place to land. Funny how loyalty shifts when the truth comes out. The vendors. Professional and understanding. Apparently, cancelled weddings aren't uncommon. Most are issuing refunds, minus small admin fees. Once it's all sorted, I'll transfer her portion and close the chapter. In an unexpected gesture, her younger sister reached out to apologize. She admitted she'd been angry at first but changed her stance after learning the full story. It meant something. Small but real. I haven't spoken to Melody directly since she left. Her weekly emails evolve, from rage to justification to guilt. The most recent read. I never did anything with Dominic. I just needed to see if what we had was real. Even if that were true, the damage was done. Some acts don't require physical betrayal to become unforgivable. Who tells their fiancé they're staying at an ex's place to think? Like it's a casual weekend retreat. She made a decision. Made mine. This wasn't about revenge. It was about recognizing the moment when a relationship ends and responding with clarity, not chaos. Some people need dramatic fights, tears, begging. You don't. I need boundaries. I need peace. He sent a text. I read it. I understood what it meant. And I moved on.